Y'all remember the movie Dead Presidents? It's about this boy named Anthony, who was a high school senior in 1968, who, instead of going to college, decides he wants to enlist into the United States Marine Corps. And he is shipped over to Vietnam, leaving behind his pregnant girlfriend and his middle class family. While in Vietnam, he is assigned to this platoon, and one of his friends, Skip, who dropped out of college and was enlisted in the United States Marine Corps and was deployed to Vietnam. They're in the same platoon, and coincidentally, their friend Jose was drafted in the U.S. Army to Vietnam. And they also have a friend named Cleon who we'll talk about later, but he ends up being a preacher. Anyway, they see a lot, they experience a lot, and they do a lot of atrocious things. And anyway, they all come back at different times. Jose loses a hand and is scarred by that. Skip has been exposed to what we now know is Agent Orange. He has a lot of health problems, and he also has now an addiction problem. And then Anthony comes back with severe PTSD. And as I said, Cleavon becomes a minister. And anyway, Anthony comes back to Juanita and their child, and he's not adjusting to civilian life well. And actually, he loses his job at a butcher shop. And it's just rough making ends meet. And to make things worse, his girlfriend, Juanita, is having an affair with a pimp. And the pimp presses Anthony, and it's a whole thing. And anyway, things come to a head, and Anthony has a conversation with Juanita's sister, Delilah, who is a part of a militant group. And anyway, Delilah, Anthony, Skip, Jose, and Cleavon all get together, and they're going to rob a bank. And they do the thing, they do all the casing for it, and they do the thing, and things fall apart almost instantly. There's a lot that happens, but anyway, Skip ends up passing away from an overdose, and the police are closing in on him. Cleavon begins spending $100 bills like they're going out of style, and the police close in on him. But I think he throws, in him getting caught up, he throws Jose and Anthony under the bus. And anyway, while Anthony was trying to escape, it didn't work, so he gets caught. He was going to go to Mexico, and that just never happened. So anyway, at the end of it, most of the people end up dead except for Anthony, who ends up standing trial for what he did, and he's trying to plead his case in front of this judge, saying, "Oh, I had no choice. My back was against the wall. I came back, and I didn't have a lot of resources." And the judge that presided over his was a U.S. Marine himself, and said, "You have no excuse," and blah blah blah. So they throw the book at him. And the last scene is Anthony in a prison bus looking out the window.